Hey everyone, I'm Lauren Loves Movies, and welcome to my latest podcast. And we are going to be talking about Marvel versus DC. And what the fuck? Sorry about that. What the heck was that? Anyway, so I am joined with my co-host, Jerome Latimer, and we are actually not specifically taking any sides, even though I've got a fancy schmancy Josstice League shirt on, and Jerome is Thanos in the thumbnail that's going to be up after the podcast is posted. And so, without any further ado, let's introduce the guest co-host. Jerome, take it away.
Interesting question. What would happen if Wonder Woman and Thanos got into a fight?
She would kick his ass.
Come again?
She would kick his ass.
You sure?
Well, he did have all those Infinity Stones. I don't know. You're dealing with the god.
So aim for the head.
Seriously.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in to Marvel vs. DC, where we give an objectively based perspective on the two biggest comic book adaptations going onto the silver screen. Of course, you have Wonder Woman herself, Lauren Loves Movies, and yours today, Romy Boy, Jerome. So, there's a lot to go over as to both Marvel and DC, their franchises, who has the better heroes, who has the better villains, you know, the past and the present, also the future. What does the future line have for Marvel and DC, and which one do you think will be the superior one? Also comparing commercial and critically success. So, Lauren, let's begin.
All right. So, the first main topic we are going to discuss is the pros and cons of Marvel and DC. Now, obviously, me being a huge DC fan, I mean, I really want to support them as much as I can. However, recently, DC hasn't been on top of their game as far as their cinematic universe goes as compared to Marvel. And so, one pro I would like to talk about, obviously, is the fact that Marvel started their MCU, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in 2008. And they have continued to make movies ever since. And they have had a system of this timeline of movies, of which they release a couple every year or so. And they seem to not be stopping. And obviously that's a formula that has worked for them. And I don't know, it's just like, apparently this is the way movies should be made with these franchises. Should they have this formula of just constant cinematic universe?
And here is the deal. With Marvel, they planned ahead. They took their time. They didn't rush into things. DC, on the other hand, rushed into things. Because, yes, they had Men of Steel. It is a polarizing movie. I love it. I love Men of Steel. And then Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, another polarizing movie. You were a fan. I wasn't. And then came one of my favorite movies of last year. It was my number 2 best film of last year, tied, and it was your numero uno, and that, of course, is Wonder Woman. Hey, James Cameron. James Cameron, you there? That's right. Patty Jenkins owned your ass.
Well, technically, Suicide Squad came before Wonder Woman, but we're trying to, like, a lot of people want to forget that that movie was ever made, because I feel like it was poorly made, and especially coming from David Ayer. I mean, he came out with a movie that I really loved called Fury.
And
that was a war movie.
And I'm just thinking, In the Sight, is that what it's called? The cop movie Training Day, and many others. Here's the why. The studios rushed him. They gave him 6 weeks to write this massive, monumental AAA film. That's it. Just 6 weeks.
Yeah.
They rushed him. That's what happened. And I don't blame David Ayer one bit.
I mean, you can't exactly blame the directors of these DC films when their movies aren't, received well from critics and the audience, and, the box office numbers would apparently speak for themselves.
Oh, true.
But it's just...
Another reason, Josstice League, like I said, things were rushed. Did you see the visual effects in that movie?
Oh, yeah. I was really disappointed with how it just seemed like it came right off of a video game. And I know, like, it's not realistic. You're supposed to be an audience member that takes themselves out of the reality of things. But then if it's set in reality with fantasy characters, you kind of have to have that balance. And that's what made a character like Thanos in the MCU, look really good in comparison to the antagonist of Josstice League. And
thank you. I do look good.
Of the DC universe.
Here's why. Is because there's a different, sure. There's reality, and then and I'm not talking about the stone reality, mind you. Where's my gauntlet at? I don't know. Lucas must have stole that. Gee, I wonder why. And there's reality, and then there's believability. Sure, the things we're seeing isn't real, but if we believe in this universe and we believe what we're seeing, there's a big difference. With Josstice League, what was those purple things are coming out of the ground? It looked like it came out straight out of a PlayStation 1 game.
I mean, it was supposed to be the planet was being terraformed to look like the planet Apocalypse, in which the character Steppenwolf and also by association Darkseid is from. Now, if they had Darkseid instead of Steppenwolf, that would have been a whole nother comparison to Thanos.
Yes, think of Darkseid as the DC version of Thanos, or vice versa. Because Steppenwolf, he was pretty forgettable. And it's like I said, they rushed it to make Josstice League, and this film had tons of studio problems. It had to change directors, multiple reshoots. It was just doomed. And now with the DC, looks like they're getting their back together. I don't know if I can say that word. They're back together. Like, for example, you have the director of Annabelle Creation and Lights Out doing Shazam, which is like, think of it as if Tom Hanks and Big got a superhero, and that is what makes it funny. And
yes, that's one of my Shazam is definitely one of my most anticipated movies of next year.
And believe it or not, Shazam is the second most powerful superhero in DC, aside from
also known originally as Captain Marvel, but apparently Marvel decided to make Miss Marvel Captain Marvel. They actually just released a new image of Brie Larson as Captain Marvel today,
and it looks luxurious. I mean, you got a lot of films coming. DC has a lot of promise coming up for. Like, you got Aquaman, James Wan. James Wan, love some of his work. And then you got, of course, Shazam. You got Wonder Woman. In my top 5 most anticipated film of next year, 1984. That's right. I love Patty Jenkins, man. She's awesome.
Yeah, and that's what's good about having a director who actually will continue to make films with that character, and they'll still be respected, unlike, say, Zack Snyder, who I actually love. No, I don't understand why I'll get into this later in the podcast, but Zack Snyder, I thought, would be a pro, for DC, because he had already worked on a movie for DC called Watchmen. And then to go from that to Man of Steel, and then for that to be poorly received, and then Batman v Superman, and then Josstice League halfway through. I mean, it doesn't make sense, and then now they don't even want to hear his name or see his face in the DC future.
Well, here's one reason why. Martha.
But
that was Zack Snyder's idea. That came from him.
I don't know why he did that, but
I don't know.
I mean, I guess the way that the storytelling was coming off with these films, it just didn't, I don't know, resonate with the fans. But I mean, it's not wrong. I mean, both their moms' names were Martha.
Not only that,
but
it literally stopped him from
killing. Because that shouldn't be the reason for them to supposedly look like that's how they form an allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I think, because I know Zack Snyder is a visual director,
mm-hmm.
He likes to, tell his stories in a visual manner and maybe, underlying themes and subliminal messaging and whatnot. And I think maybe he was trying to get his point across in a way that maybe didn't resonate with the audience. And that's why they sort of have the Martha scenario come off as a running joke for Batman v Superman, just like how there are criticisms about, I'm really looking forward to seeing Aquaman, and I know James Wan can pull off a film like this, and considering we only saw one trailer come out for this film, and obviously because there's been flack with the DCEU for showing too much, and there's been criticisms about Jason Momoa as Aquaman, because Aquaman has been a long criticized character for being this cheesy merman-looking dude. So,
they finally. In the past, he's always been crapped on, and ever since Injustice, the game, and with his new movie coming out, it's finally coming around.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that like Marvel's too perfect. I mean, yeah, Marvel's had some downsides. I'll give you some examples. Mm-hmm. Iron Man 2 was nothing but a commercial for the Avengers. Let's be real here.
Yeah. Because they included characters who were going to be featured in the next few films.
Mm-hmm. And then you got, I call it Thor the Dark Turd because it was a turd. All right, yeah. And I know you're gonna kill me for this. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Oh.
I mean, I don't know. I would prefer the first Ant-Man movie versus Ant-Man and the Wasp. I mean, it was great to see the Wasp actually get some screen time, but then the movie itself, I feel like, it was entertaining, but that's pretty much all it was.
Speaking of the Wasp, Evangeline Lilly.
Another basic Marvel film that they just add to the slate because they can.
Speaking of the Wasp, Evangeline Lilly, you are fine as hell.
Yeah.
Fine like red wine. She is. Oh my God. Where do you find these lovely ladies? Shit. Kevin Feige. Come on, Kevin Feige. Tell me your secrets. Yeah, Kevin Feige, a.k.a. probably the most wealthiest man on the face of the planet. If you don't know who Kevin Feige is, he is the guy who kind of brought together all of the MCU. He's the producer of everything.
Yeah, he's the president or whatever of, or he's the head of Marvel Studios.
Speaking of that, whoa. Feedback. Echo. Okay, I hope it's gone. All right. Oh, wait. Hey, Lauren, your feedback's pretty bad.
Is it good now?
Let me see. No.
Hello?
You got a headset?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's gone now. Okay, it's gone now. Okay. Here's a question. You have Guardians of the Galaxy 3 put on hold, by the way, but still it's coming out. The new Spider-Man movie. They have Doctor Strange. How is that possible?
Yeah.
Remember.
Who are these, like, sort of, I guess, B-list Marvel characters, and all of a sudden they're becoming the most mainstream popular characters? When you have DC, who is most well known for Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and even a movie with all three of those characters, Batman v Superman, doesn't even make a lot of money.
Oh, Batman v Superman did.
It did make some money, but maybe it's still underperformed to some people.
Oh,
like it was. I mean, it should have at least made $1 billion because of that.
Did, but not quite. Well, it's because the reason why is because sometimes you got to have quality and quantity. I mean, the worst thing about that movie was Jason Eisenberg. That guy.
Mm-hmm.
What were they thinking? They should have gotten Heisenberg from
Bryan Cranston.
Yes, I think he would have been the perfect Lex Luthor.
I know, it's like they wanted Heisenberg, not Eisenberg. But I mean, I think Jesse Eisenberg was okay. I mean, I know there were a lot of comparisons to the Riddler with his portrayal as Lex Luthor, but this is Lex Luthor Jr. This isn't the Lex Luthor that we all know. But then it's interesting because the post-credits scene to Justice League had him with a shaved head and the suit on, and he actually did look like the Lex Luthor we all know. So
in the comic books, he did have a long hair.
With that little scenario beyond Justice League, I have no idea what their plan is for that.
Lex Luthor Jr. if he sniffed too many black markers.
Well, you can do it on his yacht.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of any more DC films coming out in the future. I don't know anything else. I'm not. Well, here's the thing.
We'll get into that a little bit later on.
Understood. Okay. As you were, Lauren.
Okay. So then, obviously, one of the things that I would like to bring up as far as another pro for Marvel is that 5 of those MCU films are among the top 25 highest grossing films of all time.
You know what? And I have the list right here in terms of how successful these films really are, because they're just massive, just juggernauts.
Mm-hmm. Number 4, Avengers: Infinity War. I mean, number 4, that's good. I mean, at least it wasn't 3. Number 6, of course, has to be 2012's The Avengers, the one original. That basically everybody was so uber hyped for because of the Phase 1.
But yeah, you were just like, ew.
I was just like, well, no, I just felt like it was too overhyped. I saw it, and actually I saw it twice. I saw it twice in the theater. So
you must have liked it then.
I was with people who probably liked it more than me, but I mean, I was one of those rare supporters of Age of Ultron. And I know that a lot of people didn't really like that movie, which is why it's sitting at number 8.
Well, the reason why is because there were certain jokes that did not hit.
The villain was kind of weak.
Well, he was very promising, but kind of weak. I will say just though, Hawkeye stole the show for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But in terms of the MCU films, what is number? Oh no, As You Were. What is the next one?
So number 9. This is just Black Panther is number 9 top 25 highest grossing films.
Surprisingly, because I know domestically it's made $700 million, which is insane, and Infinity War made $670+ million. That alone, okay, have 2 films to make $1.3 billion domestically. It's more than insane. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say Disney's rolling in that dough.
I mean, Black Panther was such a good film. It's actually, they just put it on Netflix for a short amount of time before they take off all of the Marvel and Disney movies and put it on their own streaming service. But I've seen it maybe 3 times right now.
Love Black Panther.
I mean, Black Panther, it's a game changer, and it's a different type of film as far as Marvel goes, but yet it's still consistent with that Marvel sort of, I guess, the Marvel themes, the atmosphere, and just the overall look.
Well, that's probably why it helps. Whoops, feedback. Let me see. Okay, it's gone. Maybe not. Come on, Skynet, don't screw us over. Okay, there we go. At least, Black Panther, it was a movie that was completely different. It has one of the best soundtracks of the year. And, sure, the atmosphere, but the atmosphere was different. The overall feel of the movie was different. And it's like you're like in a whole new like dimension, a whole new world, and that's probably why these Marvel films succeed, because you feel like you're in a whole like you're on a whole new journey, and that's what makes these films work. Same thing with Wonder Woman. You get to see where she came from and back in why she was so significant in World War One. It's the journey. That's probably what helps them sell these films. That was the problem with Batman v Superman and Justice League, and
because they were grounded in just this one singular.
Well, not only that. Oh, Lauren,
what'd I do?
Your feedback is awful.
I can still hear you. Anyway.
Well, I can hear the feedback from your end, and then they'll hear it on the replay.
Okay. Anyway.
So, where's your headphones? Take your headphones.
Calm down. Okay, just keep talking.
Go.
Keep talking. Why don't you talk about Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman, one of my favorite films of 2017, and it's funny that Entertainment Weekly did the top 50 most powerful superheroes. Let me see. Oh, Gunn. Oh, better. Yay. Did the top 50 most powerful superheroes in terms of their personality, their strengths, how mainstream they are, how successful they are. Wonder Woman was #1. Spider-Man was #2, and I think Batman and Superman were #3 and 4, but Wonder Woman was #1. And Patty Jenkins, she's, you know, the early word of mouth, people are like, oh my God, you can believe how good this movie was. And then I saw it, and I was just like, thank you, Patty Jenkins. She took what she learned from Monster. If you've never seen Monster, go see that movie. And she transfers that into a massive, beautiful looking and character-driven film. And this movie made Gal Gadot a star. And the funny thing about Gal Gadot, I remember when she first got casted, people were against it. And guess what? You know what other people were against? Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Heath Ledger as the Dark Knight,
Robert Downey Jr. as
Iron Man, and look what happened.
Yeah.
She proved them all wrong. Hell, Gal Gadot was a trooper. That scene, No Man's Land, one of the greatest scenes ever. She did that while she was pregnant.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it was just an impressive movie all around. Like, that was my 5 out of 5 for that year.
My #2, that's #2 of the year. And they're going to make a continuation. Why was that movie successful? Well, first of all, it's like I said, give me another film besides this that was a huge AAA amazing film for the mainstream for Wonder Woman. I don't think there has been. There's the television show and whatnot, but I don't think there has been. That is the reason why. Yeah, even Tom Blakely's like, he's looking forward to 1984. Here's the question, though. How is Chris Pine in a sequel?
Yeah, see, like, that's the only question I have. Like, it just really confuses me. When I first heard about this movie, they're saying that it's kind of a continuation. Like, it's a sequel, but it's not exactly.
And like, I believe...
But then Chris Pine is like, is he actually the Steve Trevor from the first Wonder Woman movie, or is he the grandson of Steve Trevor? I mean, quite frankly, I don't even know who else he got with to have Steve Trevor the third or whatever. I mean, come on.
Well, he did fall in love with a piece of clay.
Well, but then it just doesn't, like, it does not make any sense. I mean, I hope that I get more clarity when we get more footage from the film or more of a synopsis of the plot. I mean, the only thing we know about that movie is the villain, Cheetah, who played by Kristen Wiig. And
I hope this makes up for your previous films. Oh my God! At least it's not Kate McKinnon. Well, if it was Kate McKinnon, I would have boycotted the movie. You know me.
I would have definitely preferred Kristen Wiig. I think she's a better actress when it comes to a mix of like film genres. And I think that this other film could pull it off.
I wonder what she's gonna look like, because if you ever seen what Cheetah looks like in terms of the comics or the Infinite,
like, a part of me is really nervous, but I'm also excited to see the first look of her character, because, you know, either it's going to be in costume or in CGI, or just even the transition for her to become Cheetah, I think will just be a feast for the eyes sort of thing. I don't know. I mean, it'll be really interesting.
Here's a great question. Which one do you okay, here's a great, you know, Marvel versus DC. You have Captain Marvel in 1984. Which one wins?
It has to be Wonder Woman. I don't know anything about Captain Marvel other than the fact that it was supposed to be, she should be called Miss Marvel and give Captain Marvel back to Shazam. I'm just saying. But I mean, Shazam is actually a really cool name. I mean, I like that too.
Even though he's like a 12-year-old boy. Like,
I know. You know. Oh my God, that trailer had me. Like,
oh, it's funny. And that's exactly what the film should have been. It's supposed to be like Tom Hanks from Big in a superhero film. It's like, that's perfect. Because he's a 12-year-old. He's like, dude, watch what I can do. And, you know, he's throwing, like, he's just drinking root beer with his little buddy and everything. I was like, dude, this is Tom Hanks from Big, but superhero. I was like, I love it. I love it.
I just think the only thing that I have, that I've heard people have issue with the movie is that it's set during Christmas time, but the film's release is in April of next year. Like, I honestly think they should have flipped. Like, they should have had a Christmas release for Shazam and then a summer release for Aquaman. But Aquaman is being released this December.
I wonder why.
It's just so, I don't know, it's weird. And then Wonder Woman 84, she can get, you know, any kind of release date.
Oh, of course, she's Wonder Woman. Absolutely. Yeah. But with Captain Marvel, okay, think of Captain Woman as like the female version of Superman. And we all seen the movie by now. It's like the last shot of the Infinity War, the second trailer, you know, where Samuel Jackson, he's like, mother, and he's just gone, right? And then his thing dropped, and it showed the Captain Marvel symbol, like the last hope. So you know Thor and Captain Marvel are going to play a huge aspect of Infinity War Part 2, or wherever Avengers 4, the non-announced title. I think it's going to be released sometime later this year. But in terms, I think, I don't know how this is going to work, but due to what I know, I'm giving it to Wonder Woman 1984. You have the same crew. You have Patty Jenkins, who I love. Hey, Catherine Hardwicke. Hey, Greta Gerwig. Suck it, because you're nothing like her or Catherine Bigelow. Thank you very much. And by the way, Lauren looks like if Catherine Bigelow had a daughter.
Oh my gosh.
You ever seen what Catherine Bigelow looks like?
Yeah.
She's like 50 years old. She's still looking good. And you know the best thing about her?
She's James Cameron's ex.
James Cameron! It was one of her exes, and who won Best Director? Catherine Bigelow. I was just like, yes!
But Avatar, I actually enjoyed Avatar. I mean, maybe it's not as great as, you know, his big win with Titanic, but
I still think The Hurt Locker was way better.
I don't even remember that movie.
Oh, I still, first time I saw it, I thought the movie was a documentary. That's how real it looked. Uh-oh. You still there? Uh-oh, we have camera. Oh, come on, Lauren. Come on, stay in there. You still there, Lauren? Hello, hello?
Yeah.
Okay, you were cutting out a little bit. Who still cares about the Avatar sequels? Exactly!
Yes.
And he wants to make 4 more.
One and go from there. I swear. Like, it's just weird because we'll also, I mean, we're not going to get into that, but we'll sort of talk, you know, transitions to Urge that Disney bought Fox, and Fox was one of the distributors for Avatar.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see where that all goes, but I don't really care.
But yeah, in terms of like other than Avengers Part 4, Wonder Woman 1984 is easily my most anticipated next year in terms of the Marvel or the DC, because it's what I know, and early footage that was shown at Comic-Con with Wonder Woman 1984 blew people away. So can't wait.
I saw a bit of it on Twitter. I was just like, oh my God, she took that lasso out, and oh, it was so cool. But
Gal Gadot's so hot, she can lasso me and make me say the truth.
Oh my gosh.
She's an Amazon, dude. She's almost 6 feet tall. She's almost tall as I am. It scares me.
Yeah.
And she was in the Israel army.
She is hot.
Yeah. Damn skippy she is.
That's what made her so perfect to be Wonder Woman. I don't understand why people had so much hate towards her. It's just
I'll tell you why. Because no one. Okay, she's known for the Fast and Furious and
skinny.
Oh yeah, and she put on some muscle, and she's now look at her. She was killing all the Nazi scum, or not Nazi scum, German scum.
Seriously, I wish people could stop giving such crap to all these ladies who are training to be these like superheroes. Like, I mean, I saw the training pics of Brie Larson. Like, she went to the gym to be Captain Marvel, aka Carol Danvers. Who else? Well, obviously, I saw those Gal Gadot pictures of her in the gym. I mean, like, she had, like, come on. Like, she had muscle.
Charlize Theron is another one. Like, look at Tully. She had to put on 40, 50 pounds for that role. Yeah. So, yeah. Come on now, folks.
It's crazy.
It's not like we're asking Miley Cyrus, okay?
Oh my gosh. No. Like, we want, like, I think these studios are going to cast more like higher quality actors. Like, even like, I thought the DC universe was known as the Academy Award winning actor company, but now all of a sudden I keep seeing them move to the MCU. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, I think from previous, I think the only one that won an Oscar from DC was Heath Ledger for The Dark Knight. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Which should have been nominated for Best Picture.
Well, and then whatever award that Suicide Squad won for
Best Makeup.
Best Makeup. But at least it's something. I mean, hey.
Even though Deadpool was not even nominated, this is funny.
Whatever.
Okay.
But
in terms of box office profits, here's how much the MCU films have made as a whole. Ready for this? You're not going to believe this here. Here we go. In the U.S. and Canada, domestically, the overall total is $6.8 billion.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Worldwide, $17.5 billion. Thank you very much. Lego Batman movie got snubbed. I couldn't disagree. Excuse me. I couldn't agree anymore. That should have been nominated for Best Animated Film, but no, they nominate The Boss Baby.
Ugh. I did not like that movie.
3 letters. D-O-F. There. That's all I'm going to say. So, there are some promising DC films out there because they kind of get a bad rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard the Batman Ninja film was spectacular. You got the Lego Batman movie, which I thought was better.
I loved that movie.
The Lego Batman movie was hilarious. It was awesome. I couldn't praise it enough. I love Man of Steel. You got Wonder Woman, which I think is the best DC film aside from The Dark Knight. Okay, you got the Dark Knight trilogy. That is out there. The reason why it's getting the bad rap is because of the universe that they're trying to build, and they didn't take their time. They rushed it, and that is why people went against it. Yeah.
So while the DCEU might have started in 2012 when Man of Steel came out, the MCU already had a 4-year head start because they started in 2008, which was the same year that The Dark Knight came out. And that's why everybody was saying, and even I was saying back then, like all those years ago, I was saying, oh my God, it would have been so cool to see Christian Bale and his Batman go up against Henry Cavill's Superman. Like, they just looked so good together. No offense to Ben Affleck. Like, I really love his portrayal as Batman, and I'll also get into, I guess I'll say it now. Because I keep hearing these things about him being in or out, like all of these are just rumors. There hasn't been anything official yet, so you can't really count him out just yet. For being not Batman anymore. And however, because he was because he checked into rehab, I was reading some article the other day about how much it's going to cost because of his insurance policy. That it's going to be like freaking expensive. They have to pay that because obviously the studio wants to keep their best interests and their best, you know, people in line. And obviously being in rehab, that's going to cost a pretty penny. So I don't know if he's going to be out because of that, but because of all the other stuff surrounding the solo Batman movie that's going to be directed by Matt Reeves, and then potentially casting a younger. I mean, I love Matt Reeves because I love the Planet of the Apes movies that he did.
He also did Let Me In.
Did I see? I don't remember if I.
That's the remake, and he also did Cloverfield.
Yeah, I really love that movie, but then it's just like when it comes to another Batman movie. I mean, obviously it's been a while since we've seen a solo Batman movie since 2012. And
this is what Matt Reeves said. He's going to make the Batman movie a more of a detective film because he's known as the world's greatest detective. But in terms of DC, here's another reason why Batman v Superman got a bad rap. Because Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight, he had one rule.
No killing.
What does he do in Batman v Superman? Oh my God, he kills over 24 people.
Yeah, but see, that's the difference between the Christopher Nolan Batman films and the Zack Snyder Batman films. Or the films with Batman in it, which is only one. Not including Josstice League, because that was like half of his movie, pretty much.
Yeah,
he can have his name in the credits all he wants, but it was still, I feel like, half of his movie.
Oh yeah, it was.
Because it's Joss Whedon.
Yeah. Joss Whedon. I'm
so mad. I'm just so, I don't even know who I'm more mad at, Joss Whedon or Warner Brothers. Or what happened to Justice League. I'm mad at Warner Brothers because from a business standpoint, they should not have taken all of these risks to just basically F up the outcome. Like, they shouldn't have rushed it, for one, and they shouldn't have made it be only a runtime of 2 hours. Like, that was their mandate. And I'm just thinking, okay, I know that people were giving Batman v Superman a lot of flack because that was almost like 3 hours long. It was like 2 hours and 45 minutes long. It was a
2.5 hour movie.
It was a really long movie, and I can understand why people wouldn't want to sit through that long of a film. I mean, hello, I sat through The Return of the King, and it was a good film. But then, I mean, I'm not trying to compare that to Batman v Superman. As far as quality goes, I mean, obviously we know which one was the best one.
It not depends on how long the movie is, but how long it feels.
But I think as far as, runtimes go, I feel like a lot has changed over the years as far as, making a movie a certain runtime because you want to fit as many showtimes in a theater as much as possible. And, obviously the longer the movie, the less showtimes you can have in a day.
Well, how do you explain Infinity War?
But, I mean, Infinity War,
That movie made $250+ million in a weekend.
I think it was because it was still, like, as far as, I think it was a much better film, though. Infinity War.
Well, I think Infinity War.
I love it. I would sit through that again.
Well, yeah, because I'm in it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Or Thor.
To be honest, though, he's the best. He's the best hero of the movie. So.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna get into what happens at the end of Infinity War.
Okay. In terms of Marvel, like I said, I don't know where they're gonna continue with this, but here's the thing: his Infinity Gauntlet still works because after he, Wonder Woman versus Thanos, you kidding me? I would kick her ass. What are you talking about? Watch behind the scenes. She's like Stewie and Brian from Family Guy. He's like, "Where's my money?" And she's like, "No, what did you say?" When he's beating the crap out of him. His Infinity Gauntlet still worked, even after he snapped his fingers, because he used the space gem to go back to wherever he came from.
Yeah, but then he still turned like half the universe to dust. And they're not. And everybody was like, I was actually crying watching that because I seriously thought that they were gonna die, and I honestly don't think they're dead. I think, and this is my theory, and I don't care if I'm wrong in the end, I think that everybody who got snapped is trapped in a soul stone.
Okay, hold that thought.
Okay.
Because Gamora
But
I believe she is stuck in the Soul Stone.
Mm-hmm.
You remember after he snapped his fingers, he entered this subconscious world where he's talking to the Locomoral? I believe that's the world of the Soul Stone.
Mm.
And you notice that he barely he doesn't use it that much, but there's a reason why he did it. Is because he's saving that. He's saving it because of the Gamora. The only way you can bring people back is where will they go from the ending of Infinity War? Well, you noticed how the original Avengers are the only ones there. Him and Rocket Raccoon.
Right. And that's why I was like, well, and also the fact that the people that were spared were the ones from Phase 1. Yeah. Pretty much.
Except for Rocket Raccoon.
It kind of bothers me that they did that. Like, really? You couldn't bother killing off Captain America?
Oh,
you're done in Captain America Civil War? I'm sorry. I love Civil War. I did not care for Winter Soldier. I did not care. I don't care what anybody says. Dislike me all you want. I didn't care for that movie. I liked Civil War much better. But thank God the Russo brothers came back to do Infinity War, because that's all they can do. Don't get mad.
Oh, I want to see some right now so bad, but I had to keep it PG.
Oh my God.
You be quiet.
Hey, but no, seriously. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Iron Man and Thor.
Come on, take Cap.
I would have been mad. But the fact that none of them, nobody from Phase 1 got killed off.
I thought, first of all, okay, hold up a second. I thought Iron Man was dead.
I thought
he stabbed them. I'm just like,
I got so nervous. I was just like,
he almost did die. Thor, he actually did die if he didn't get his
eyeball,
his Stormbreaker.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? Because the beam killed him.
Yeah.
And then look what happened. He just showed up and he just, annihilated everyone's booty hole. Okay. And, okay, but look at the people. Okay. Black Panther, Bucky, Spider-Man, all of the Guardians of the Galaxy minus Rocket. The Spider-Man and the Groot was the worst, especially with the Groot, where his last words was "Dad" to Rocket.
No, but then I teared up listening to Tom Holland.
Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh, that was all improv too. He was like,
because
I don't want to go.
It makes sense because he's got that spider sense. He knew what was happening.
It's so scary.
See, that's why.
But it's really cool though that, because I've given Marvel a lot of criticism over the years because their movies have been mostly comedic, and I feel like I know, but the Infinity War movie had a balance of tone.
Thank you. Yeah,
and that's what I loved about it, because they went in a different direction, because the stakes were raised. Leading up to this one moment, I think that's why people were mixed. When I remember people saying on the night that it was released that they were completely shook because of this movie, because they were not expecting what was going to happen in the end.
Yep.
People were just stone-faced, and so was I. I mean, I
couldn't believe it.
My jaw dropped to the floor. I felt like my heart stopped for a second. I was in tears. I couldn't believe that after 10 years of MCU films and seeing them, and whether I liked them or not, I couldn't believe how much this movie impacted me. And that's that's a lot coming from me, especially being more of a DC fan, and I've been more supportive of the DCEU despite their flaws. And I know that Marvel has had a lot of flaws in their cinematic universe that have been, sort of shoved under the rug, because a lot of people like to be entertained regardless of what they see.
Hey, Lauren, I don't know why this is so bad, but yet.
I'm just like,
okay, I saw this GIF. I couldn't help but laugh.
What was it?
It was like, but I couldn't help but laugh. Okay, it was a Happy Father's Day GIF. Okay, like wishing you a Happy Father's, and it shows Thor throwing Gamora.
Oh my God!
I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And shows happy fathers. Okay, I was just like, that's dark, but I couldn't help but laugh, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, and Peter Quill could have been the son-in-law.
But,
quote-unquote
I mean,
son-in-law.
Oh, what was it? Loki and everyone from Asgard is gone. I mean, so many. I mean, what is it? If you saw the end credits, okay, there's gonna be a minor spoiler alert of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Mm-hmm.
The Wasp and her family gone.
Yeah. And so, Ant-Man was stuck in the realm, like the quantum realm.
So this is gonna be, like I said, but I bet you he might get those powers.
Maybe.
So, you know, I don't know where they're gonna go with Avengers 4, but this is what the writers and the Russo brothers said: you have not seen nothing yet upon Avengers 4, because they filmed Infinity War and Avengers 4 simultaneously. It's like they get done shooting this one scene, and then they're gonna work on the next movie and shoot this one scene. So who knows? And Dave Bautista, yes, I understand you're pissed off at Disney. Don't be revealing fucking Don't be revealing. Sorry about that. Don't be revealing spoilers about Avengers 4, because he's been doing that because that's how mad he is at Disney.
Well, Andy's also mad about the whole like James Gunn situation, which we'll get into later on also.
Yeah.
About like, you know, what's going to happen with a potential for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, his character, you know, he's
hilarious.
Character, but I feel like there's really not much else going for his character unless he actually tries to do something to redeem himself as a character even more in the next.
By the way, speaking about swept under the rug, yeah, that's him. He's that pile of dirt. He vanished, remember?
I know, but I'm just saying.
Dude, Drax is, oh my God, he had me dying in Infinity War. I was crying, laughing.
Yeah.
But, like I said, how are they going to make these new movies?
I don't know. I mean, Marvel definitely took a risk with, you know, how Infinity War ended. So it's kind of hard to know exactly what the future of those movies are like. And even with DC too. I mean, DC has no problem killing off their characters, unlike Marvel, who waited basically in this one big ginormous film.
Well, it kind of makes sense because, you know, unlike Batman v Superman, where they treated Superman as Jesus.
Yeah, but I mean,
come on now. Get it? He's hit him with the spear of destiny, and he died for everybody, but he resurrects. Come on now.
Yeah, but don't forget, I mean, there was a lot of that symbolism in Man of Steel as well.
But it wasn't as predictable. Like when he died,
maybe I was like, foreshadowing. Maybe it's foreshadowing.
I knew I was like, when the ground came off the coffin and the movie ended, I'm like, called it, got him left.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, like, definitely a con that DC has is the fact that they release. There's always a tendency to see spoilerish information ahead of these film releases.
Oh my God,
it's like especially for example, seeing Doomsday in the Batman v Superman trailer. Yes, like they knew, and everybody who saw him in the trailer knew exactly what storyline they were taking that from, the death of Superman. And that is what killed it. I think because they did that, maybe they did because they thought people like who were true fans, who were DC fans, who knew exactly what that was, they would be super hyped, and they thought that they could reel them in with that kind of marketing. I mean, I honestly think that was a poor mistake on Warner Brothers to do that, because if they had left Doomsday for just seeing him as a surprise in the film instead of in a trailer,
I don't know why they
could have been. I don't know what the impact would have been. Regardless, people probably still would have been mad that they killed off Superman in his second film. And they don't even regard Batman v Superman, his technical second film. People want to see Man of Steel too.
I do too. And there's been a lot of directors who came and gone. Like there was rumors that George Miller was going to direct it, or Matthew Vaughn, or, you know, I want to see a Man of Steel too. And I think it'd be great, but they need to put the pieces together. And the way they're going to do it is with these upcoming films, which is Aquaman, Shazam, and of course, that's one thing I will give, aside from Avengers 4, I will give DC on is their upcoming films, because I think they're strong. Not only are they stronger, but I don't know how the upcoming Marvel films make any sense, because they're gone.
Yeah, it's like, how do you go from, you know, the impact that was left after Infinity War, when, you know, they've had their 10 years of building up their characters leading up to this one moment, while DCEU has been getting a lot of criticism for not, you know, following up with the Marvel formula. And now that they're coming out with more solo films instead of their team-up films after, you know...
I think that's smart of them.
It is smart. You know, I mean, they're trying to learn from their mistakes, but I feel like they're slowly getting there. And hopefully, because, I mean, Comic-Con this past summer, you know, it was DC that really made Comic-Con just, they stole the show. I mean, completely. I was so impressed with the trailers for Aquaman and Shazam, which I literally knew nothing about prior to seeing it. And I mean, literally next year and the end of this year with Aquaman, I'm more hyped for DC films versus Marvel.
And who knows if there's going to be, okay, in terms of like, well, they did failed with the Green Lantern.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a separate thing. That was its own standalone.
That's true.
Film. I mean, and I'll also also I should talk about those standalone films that they want to come out with.
That was the Hal Jordan version. There's still the Jon Stewart version.
I know, but if they do Green Lantern Corp whenever that's coming out, they are going to have multiple Green Lanterns. So there could be a Hal Jordan as well as a Jon Stewart.
Maybe a Martian Manhunter. Who knows?
Oh my God, that'd be so cool.
It would be. Think about it.
Yeah, just as long as they do it a little bit differently, but also sort of similar. I mean, I didn't actually see the episode of Supergirl where they actually featured Martian Manhunter.
If there's anyone who directed a movie with Martian Manhunter, Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah. Yeah. He knows how to deal with those creatures.
I mean, come on. He makes a movie work with a woman who falls in love with a fish god.
Yeah. But then he's also very lucky. He's fortunate to work with the same actor who played Abe Sapien in Hellboy.
I love Abe Sapien.
Oh my gosh! Wait, what is that actor's name? I'm trying to think. What is? Oh, Doug Jones. Doug Jones is amazing. Like, if he got an opportunity to be a character in a DC film, I think
I want to be Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Or
if the Dark Universe from Universal decides to make a Creature from the Black Lagoon remake.
Oh, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, you saw how much that movie lost. But if you ask me what was the best trailer that came out of Comic-Con, Godzilla.
Yeah, it was cool. I liked Aquaman. Aquaman was so cool. It's like a toss-up between Godzilla and Aquaman, but I feel like I'm just so hyped. I'm really glad. I mean, literally, that trailer, I don't need to see any more trailers. I'm sold.
No, not at all.
No.
As you were, Lauren.
Okay. What was I going to say?
You were going to bring something up.
I don't remember now.
Oh. You pulled an Austin.
Anyway, so do we have any more for any pros and cons left? Anything else?
In terms of, like I said, the pros, it depends on the studio for DC, if they're going to rush them or not. Give them their time. And like I said, did they rush him with Wonder Woman? No.
No.
Hey, look what happened.
And I feel like they gave more creative control to Patty Jenkins. And I feel like they don't tend to do that with Zack Snyder. They didn't do it for David Ayer. You know, when it comes, I mean, I know a lot of movies have reshoots, but not all of them are, you know, advertised. Like, not everybody knows about reshoots until like they hear about it, you know, after the movie was released. But like, I mean, the thing with, I should bring up Josstice League and the whole mustache debacle.
You know,
I have to. Now I have to talk. Now I just thought about it. I have to talk about it. So this thing about, you know, studio meddling. I really hate that Warner Brothers decided to give in to Paramount and decided like, oh, because Henry Cavill was contracted to not shave it. He couldn't shave his mustache for Mission Impossible Fallout. And, a lot of people were thinking, oh, we're going to boycott Mission Impossible Fallout because of what happened in Justice League, because of what that studio did. What should be taken into account is the fact that Warner Brothers needs to be held accountable for, how successful these movies become. And it shouldn't just be about how much money these movies make. I know it's a business, but, you should let your directors have creative control. You should let your actors do their thing. I mean, trust me, they can't be that dumb to not, I don't know. It was so crazy. Like when I saw that first shot of Justice League, that opening scene with Henry Cavill, I was floored with just how horrendous it looked. And it looked, thankfully it looked less horrendous than how CGI'd Steppenwolf was.
Yeah. You know what? My God, Man of Steel, he had a beard.
I mean, and they could have, and they teased a black suit, his black suit in one of the deleted scenes. Like they couldn't bother to have any sort of added scene, or like the scene where he's supposed to meet Alfred, and that was shown in an actual trailer.
Yeah, that was not even.
Could have kept it in. Like it was so good. Like I could just picture the timing of that. Like really, I highly doubt that their mandate was for 2 hours. Like they really wanted to meet that. And it's so stupid because you cannot develop all of these new characters, which included Aquaman, because we don't see him until his solo film coming this December, where we get to see more of him. But the fact that he was introduced here alongside the Flash,
and God, I hate him.
You really, they could have. I mean, I feel like this whole thing, comparing Marvel to DC, in the fact that, but before the Avengers came out, all their solo films came out prior to the team-up film. Yeah, I know, but DC, it's too late. They couldn't have possibly done that to look like copycats, and then people would criticize them for that. So it's like a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Wait, Tom Bangley says, come to think about it, how does Superman shave? That's actually really.
He these laser eyes in the mirror and then bounces off. I don't know. He takes his nails. He just scrapes his beard off. I don't know.
He uses the No Pro.
I don't know. At least the way he shaved looked a lot better than Ben Affleck when he was shaving on that jet. I was so disappointed. I'm like, his stubble looked so good in Batman v Superman. That's what made me fall in love with him. Now it's and the fact that Batman. I'm a huge Batman fan. The way that they did Ben Affleck so dirty in this movie that I'm just okay, for real, you had to dumb him down. And I don't know whose idea was that. We know when they were doing maybe a script reshoot or rewrites. And then when they did the reshoots, they had Batman basically be this pussy. Pardon my French, but I'm just saying.
Pussy cat.
Well.
Wait, speaking of that, is your kitty? Where's your kitty?
I don't know.
I want to see the kitty. Kitty.
Nowhere. I can't. I'm not going to walk away.
I want to see the kitty. Kitty.
Later.
I want to see the kitty.
Anyway, so Batman, I'm just I don't even know what is going to happen with either Ben Affleck or the character of Batman, but they need to get theirs together.
If Ben Affleck isn't,
it was disappointing. He was his character development is just dumbed him down. And I don't care if he's immortal with I'm just rich.
Oh, that's my superpower.
Please.
Oh, if they have to cast a new Superman, new Batman, Carl Urban.
They should have just. I just don't understand why Warner Brothers doesn't get this stuff right from the get-go. Like, why do they have to overcompensate? I think this is one of the biggest things that I can never stop thinking about, because every mistake that Warner Brothers has made with their DC universe, it blows my mind that they just continuously think only in terms of monetary value instead of, you want to have an established fan base who is going to support you, and not just support you no matter what kind of product you want to sell. Like all these other upcoming projects, whether they're official or not, and some of them are really outlandish and some of them have actually pissed me off.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the unrelated outside of the DCEU Joker movie starring Joaquin Phoenix, which is set to start filming pretty soon.
Yes.
And I just don't understand why they have to recast a Joker, because Jared Leto's Joker in Suicide Squad, he wasn't he wasn't the central aspect of that film. So, and however, regardless of how people saw his portrayal, of course he's not going to be like Heath Ledger's Joker.
Well, that's not the point. No.
I like Heath Ledger's Joker. I mean, I have Joker bobblehead.
Oh my God, how many kids you're going to scare on Halloween night with that thing?
Well, I'm going to scare them being the nun from the movie. The Nun. Yep.
Not Gary. He's going to be like, oh.
Yeah. But I just don't understand why, just the state of the DCU in comparison to the MCU. It looks like the MCU is slowing down now after Infinity War, or they're keeping things very tight-lipped, unlike the information that comes out of Warner Brothers regarding the DCEU. Every time a movie comes out, all I'm seeing is news outlets constantly reporting about, oh, what's this next thing about a DC movie or whatever, or a casting choice or something of a TV show or that streaming service.
If it was up to me, I would do the Captain Marvel movie, because I think that comes out before Avengers 4. Am I correct?
Yes, it comes out.
Do the Captain Marvel movie and then end the MCU at Avengers 4. Yeah. I think that's what they should have done.
Because, well, I mean, here's the thing. When they decide to, because they did the whole the Fox deal with Marvel and Disney, if they're going to, they're going to try to figure out how are we going to introduce these characters, or we're going to stop with any Avengers characters in this universe, and then we're going to move forward with X-Men or Fantastic Four.
They need to concentrate on
those movies and try to, figure out how to deal with those universes. And then if they want to decide to merge them in with the already established Marvel characters, any actors who want to actually still stay on, instead of, continuously renewing their contract, instead of dying like they should have done in that one movie.
You be quiet.
I'm just saying.
You leave Captain alone. He's a badass.
Whatever.
I'll let you take on 11 people in an elevator.
Okay. I could probably do that.
You probably would.
Yeah.
He's like, Jerome, you're going first.
Yeah, I'll throw you over my shoulder.
What are you, Ronda Rousey?
Yeah, roundhouse kick.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying. Yeah, which means that if they decide to introduce any X-Men characters, then I honestly think they need to cancel New Mutants, which I'm pretty sure it did get canceled, and then they need to cancel Dark Phoenix. And then bring Jessica Chastain over to the DCEU because, I
want to see the New Mutants. That has so much promise, though.
No.
No! Oh, that's not very nice. You're being a meanie.
I'm just saying, I mean. Well,
first you want to get rid of Cap, and then you don't want no New Mutants. What is this world come to? Oh!
No, and I also want Warner Brothers to establish their universe instead of making multiple projects. Birds of Prey is fine. Go right ahead. But then have that all be connected. Get rid of the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, in which Alec Baldwin was never officially cast as Thomas Wayne. which, by the way, totally undercut everything Jeffrey Dean Morgan did for Batman v Superman in that one beginning, because I thought he was perfect, even in that one little scene.
Yeah.
I think they need to have Suicide Squad 2. They need to do something where they're not making separate movies for their villains. They need to make movies with just the heroes before they do a Justice League 2, and then bring in Darkseid, and then all is right in the DC world.
Or Brainiac, that's another one. Okay, what's the name of that? What's the name of that one movie with it's like an all-female cast with all the female villains and stuff? Harley Quinn and all of them. And
Birds of Prey.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
There's supposed to be like a DC film involving.
Like Gotham City Sirens. That's right. Gotham City Sirens.
That one. So who knows?
I mean, I just like, and half the time, like, I don't believe half the stuff unless it's officially coming from Warner Brothers, because it's too much. And I think it actually gives me a little bit of anxiety to just constantly hearing all of this negativity towards DC, and then yet it's pro Marvel. It's like, come on, balance it out. Not everything about Marvel is all like peaches and cream. Just saying. Well,
no, I gave you a couple. Okay, that photo was funny. No, yeah, you know, like I said, Avengers 2 for me, Iron Man 2, Thor. Okay, some of their sequels. Here we go. Here's a big flaw with Marvel. Some of their sequels, they're not very. Despite the fact that every single one of their films is at least fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Like for me, Avengers: Age of Ultron, Iron Man 2, Thor 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah, the sequelitis. It's this.
Yeah. They just like all these heroes have to have at least a trilogy under their belt.
It worked for Captain America.
Yeah, just not for Iron Man. Not for Iron Man, because Iron Man 3 was terrible.
Oh! I thought it was hilarious.
But it shouldn't.
You did not like that twist.
It shouldn't be all comedy though, because literally how they marketed it was that it looked like it was taking a dark turn, and then it's still like considered a comedy.
Well,
and it's not a dark comedy at that.
Thor Ragnarok was a comedy, and look how well that was. That was hilarious.
Yeah,
that's right. You be quiet. You be quiet.
Every single time I rewatch Thor Ragnarok, I still stand by my score or my rating of that movie, but then I just still feel like, I mean, it was CGI overload. Maybe it was too comedic because of what we had already previously seen. It was like taking a transitional, like, tonal shift with the Thor character. From having Thor, which I think not a lot of people like that movie. Even though I love Kenneth Branagh as a director, and he directed Thor. Thor: The Dark World, I was disappointed with, because I mean that villain Malekith really just did not impress me. And Malekith is one of the reasons why I feel like Marvel villains are just always lacking with their development. With some exceptions, there are some good and or decent Marvel villains, but a lot of the Marvel villains aren't that great.
Loki
and Thanos.
I was supposed to say Thanos. Zero, and you got Hela, Kate Blanchett. You are fine. Call me. Thank you.
She was definitely one of the highlights of Thor Ragnarok.
Oh my God, Vulture from Spider-Man: Homecoming. And then you got. I know there's more.
No, there's not. No,
yes,
there's not.
Yes, there's more. There's more.
Just don't say Killmonger from Black Panther. He was okay.
He was awesome. He was awesome. He was so relatable. It's like you wanted to win.
Black Panther was literally like the Lion King, because of like having like the one who's like a villain trying to, dethrone the rightful king to try to be king, and then try to ruin that whole.
But the Lion King is awesome, though.
It is awesome.
And we don't have singing hyenas, and there's no elephant graveyard.
Yeah, that's the only. I can't wait to see that trailer. I'm gonna cry. Like I bawled watching the Beauty and the Beast trailer. Yeah. Just you wait, Disney will, buy my tears. in a jar.
Mm-hmm. And you know what I'm gonna do? And I'm gonna drink and be like, "I told you so."
Oh my god!
Yes.
Salty. Yeah, I mean that's what Disney does. I mean, they have this thing about, you know, I mean, Disney, obviously a big, huge company. They're able to finance their films and get the best, you know, seemingly best quality, you know, CGI.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them have been lacking, though. I'll admit, some of the movies have lacked in CGI.
Oh, and
as
DC
far as
has
Marvel films go. But
oh, okay.
yeah, because I definitely noticed at least one shot at the end of Black Panther where I feel like the CGI was kind of iffy.
Was it the rhino?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the rhino.
It was when like they're fighting in that like and they're falling and they're fighting while falling at the end.
Free falling.
Let's see. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Disney versus Warner Brothers, I feel like they definitely have their own strategy of how to make, you know, their films look and feel a certain way. So, I mean, obviously people tend to go towards Disney, but I'm telling you, critics are not being paid off by Disney to give them fresh ratings.
Okay, first of all, I want to say this right now. Anybody was saying, like, oh, I don't like Rotten Tomatoes. I was just like, Rotten Tomatoes is a website to where it shows all of the critic reviews from a domestic standpoint. Okay?
Yeah, so this...
It's just like, it's like, oh, they're paid off. I'm like, no, they're not.
No.
I mean, do I agree every time with Rotten Tomatoes? No. I hated Hereditary.
I never look at Rotten. I always want to see a movie and just view it with my own eyes and then state my opinion.
I mean, sure, it's great to hear the early word of buzz and see what you know. It's kind of like what you are anticipating. But do I agree with it all the time? No, I couldn't stand Teen Titans Go. I couldn't stand. I hated Hereditary. I hated Annihilation. Okay, so it's just like, come on, folks.
I loved Hereditary. I only hated that little bit at the end of that movie. No spoilers, but I still think it was a pretty impressive.
Toni Collette, you are the queen of making lava dump faces.
She needs to be nominated for an Oscar.
Oh!
No Marvel film, no comic book movie should be nominated for an Oscar unless it's a technical award. And no, I don't even want to talk about the most like the popular film category of the Oscars because everybody's saying, "Oh, Black Panther, it should go to Black Panther."
Well, you know why? Here's why.
Because it's the MTV Movie Awards of the Oscars.
Because the Oscars, oh my god, you were on Flix. We were on Flix at the time. The Oscars last year pulled one of the lowest ratings ever. And who owns and Oscars is on ABC Network. Who owns ABC?
Disney.
And where did this all started from? Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
They are pushing this movie.
Too much hype. I mean, they're just like pushing an agenda that doesn't need to.
There is no reason to have a popular film category. It is lazy, it is pathetic, and it's just allowing those films to not get nominated for Best Picture. And The Dark Knight is the greatest example.
Right. And I love that movie so much. Like I don't care if it didn't get a Best Picture nomination. At least, I mean, as long as it won Heath Ledger's posthumous Oscar, I was actually really happy about that.
I think he's the second person in history for a person who deceased to win an Oscar. The first one was for a network. Yep. But that is just, you know, for the most popular. Of course, Disney's going to push that, but in the other political agenda, the Oscars hate these types of films.
Right.
There's only been 3 animated films nominated for Best Picture. There's only been, if you don't count Jaws or Silence of the Lambs, there's only been 2 horror films nominated for Best Picture: The Exorcist and Get Out. Superhero, 0.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like they can be nominated or even win for, you know, the smaller categories, but I mean some of them can be, I don't know, like they're just seen as popcorn flicks. And
that's the problem. Well, okay.
And that's the problem. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I'll give you a great example of a dumb popcorn flick, Rampage. Okay, that's a dumb movie, but is it a popcorn flick? Yeah. Fast and the Furious films, great example.
Mm-hmm.
Avengers: Infinity War has style and substance. There's quantity and quality.
But does it deserve to be nominated for Best Picture? Unless it would just be in that,
we're gonna have to
popular film category.
We're gonna have to wait and see. I know The Dark Knight should have. I mean, hell, another one, Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I know a buddy of mine who's known a lot of film critic circles. Medium has said this. They would have removed Lady Bird. I couldn't stand that movie. And replace it with Wonder Woman. Hell, Wonder Woman was on the AFI's 10 best films of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it won Critics' Choice Awards.
But then, here's actually, and this is actually a good transition to the next category. But before we get to that, I just want to say, so how does, a movie like Wonder Woman, even if it's been critically successful,
it was,
or even financially successful, and it's been really popular with audiences, why does that kind of movie deserve Oscar status? Let's say. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I would love to see it be considered.
I'll tell you why. I mean, because it doesn't fit the
norm.
Academy. That's why.
And that's why, I mean, and even if, no matter how many times they get new Academy voters, they're not going to swing that popular, audience,
Last year was, even though it was predictable as always, I mean, The Shape of Water won.
Yeah. That's a good movie, though.
Oh, it's an amazing movie.
Beautiful.
It's an awesome movie. Yeah. I mean, Guillermo del Toro, I love him. However, many of the other stuff, were not, I'm sorry, I don't like Lady Bird. Or all these other Oscar bait films. It's the same old crap.
And which is why when they had Get Out in the Oscar circuit, I was really happy that it won. Jordan Peele won. And
he actually won.
Best Original Screenplay.
Which I thought was going to go to 3 Billboards. So. Yeah.
I mean, I was really happy because then at least the Oscars are changing. I mean, it's like a slow progression. They're slowly changing and they're making these slight changes, whether they think it's going to work out in the long run or not. As far as, adding younger and more diverse Academy voters, or, coming out with this new category, which, has a lot of controversy with it because, does it negate from, other films potentially, it negates these films from being nominated for Best Picture, and it would just be given its own category and they would be placed there instead of being the highest honor. And
I just want to say this. It makes it come off like, oh, we just want these films to be and nothing else. On my best last year, I had Get Out. I had Wind River. I had The Shape of Water. I had Detroit. And I had 3 Billboards. And those are all indie films.
Mm-hmm.
Because I get the reputation oh, Jerome only likes blockbusters. Well, then I wouldn't give credit to Mud, The Dallas Buyers Club, The Place Beyond the Pines, or all those other films.
Mm-hmm.
See, I have a mixture of everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's
and that's the problem with Oscars. They don't have a mixture of everything.
Yeah, and it sucks because, I mean, like you said, I mean, you have a preference, you have a taste in, a little bit of everything. It just depends on the film and if you end up liking it in the end. And then with the Oscars, they don't tend to swing that way. They tend to go for more Oscar baity.
The Disaster
films, but then,
one I had on there.
Yeah, and then these comic book movies don't seem to see.
It's too one-dimensional. That's the problem.
Right. Yeah. So then I guess we should transition to our next category, unless you had some more to say about the Oscars.
No. Okay. Like I said, we're just comparing how Marvel and DC, they don't get their fair share.
Right.
Because they really don't.
Yeah. So critical versus financial success. Because you were sort of talking about Rotten Tomatoes, so I wanted to bring up some of the Rotten Tomatoes scores for.
I believe
both Marvel and DC
Marvel
films.
has never had a film in the MCU below 60%.
Yeah, it's been like their lowest. Well, currently I'm looking. The lowest is Thor: The Dark World at 66,
which is surprising.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Okay, and their highest, I think
Black
Thor,
Panther.
right? It's Black Panther. I'm sorry.
Black Panther is at 97.
Which is it's my number 4 film of the year, by the way. And I believe they have 7 films that's above 90.
There's in the order, I guess, from when they were all released. So Ant-Man and the Wasp has 87%. Avengers: Infinity War has 83, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Black Panther 97, Thor Ragnarok, and Spider-Man: Homecoming, and the Avengers all have 92%. Doctor Strange is 89%. Captain America: Civil War and Guardians of the Galaxy 1 has 91%. Ant-Man 82. Avengers: Age of Ultron 75. Captain America: Winter Soldier 89%. Thor: The Dark World 66. Iron Man 3 and Captain America: The First Avenger has 80. Thor 1 has 77%, Iron Man 2 73, Incredible Hulk 67, and Iron Man 1 94%.
94. Oh wow, Doctor Strange is 89, so it's not at 90 anymore. Oh, okay. I love Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it was a good film. I think.
Oh, I think it was awesome. It was unlike
anything I've ever. Different. I think I liked. I've been more drawn to any Marvel character that's outside of Phase 1, and I've been more drawn to their solo films. So like I was a fan of Black Panther, obviously, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man movie, and yeah, I mean those, like, it was just so different. I think it was just a nice change, and then because I feel like once you see all these other Marvel characters who all apparently survived Thanos' snap, you all know what they're gonna be like capable of.
You don't mess. Hey, that's
Stan
my boy.
Stan Lee can give Thor a buzz cut for all I care. I mean,
and you still find him hot.
He is. Oh
yes.
Yeah, I'd like to see him take out Thanos.
Oh. I don't know what to say anymore. Yeah, you'll be the Asgard queen. You know, I don't even know he'll let you pick up the Stormbreaker, but you're walking side by side and you're happy and glowing, and you got these, seriously,
because what happened to his lady, Natalie Portman? I bet did she survive the snap? We don't know.
I hope
we don't care because she's not going to be in the MCU anymore.
I hope Kat Dennings didn't survive the snap because she was the worst thing about Thor.
That's what I hear.
Oh my god.
I mean, she was okay, whatever.
Oh, she was awful in the Dark World. That's like the worst aspect about
but that movie as a whole was just bad.
Yeah.
There, it has a 66%.
There, I made it disappear. There we go. All right. Oh wait, where's my glove at? Oh, you heard that thing called the Power Glove? Someone made the Infinity Gauntlet into the Power Glove.
Oh my god.
I want it.
Me too.
So I can snap my fingers.
Big, huge thing.
So I can snap my fingers to prevent you from talking bad about my boy Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody in the audience hate my opinion of Captain?
Well, dude, you're talking. Well, I should know about that.
I understand. I mean, everybody hated my negative review of Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Like, I said some good things about it too, but people were mostly negative. But
Lauren,
the past is behind me, and I love Civil War. I don't care what anybody says.
Lauren, still to this day, Blade Runner 2049. I'm not gonna say nothing else. So I know how you feel.
I mean, I don't know, but at least Infinity War made over $2 billion at the box office, so
and rightfully deserving.
But it still didn't be. It's not number one in the world, like overall. It's not number one.
Avatar.
Blue aliens beat the big purple.
Hey, what's her name as what's her name? She was an Avatar. She's
also Saldana.
Honey.
I mean, no, but that's what I'm thinking, because if they are making more Avatar films, that maybe her character is done in Infinity War after that. So maybe she can go from being green to being blue again.
I like her better as green. She looks so pretty.
Well, you know what they say, it's not easy being green.
Tell that to Poison Ivy.
Jessica Chastain should be Poison Ivy.
Her or what's her name? Hendricks. Christina Hendricks.
I honestly, I feel like Jessica Chastain would bring in more money. Like, I feel like she's just more bankable as an actress.
Well,
No
I know Jessica Chastain should play Jessica Rabbit. No, not Jessica Chastain. I mean, no. Hendricks should play Jessica Rabbit. I mean, gosh, she's a.
Yeah. However, I still don't know if I completely agree with the fact that Jessica Chastain was cast as Adult Beverly in It Chapter 2.
It should have been Amy Adams.
And I actually just saw Amy Adams' new show on HBO, Sharp Objects, and they had the girl who, I forgot the actress's name, who plays the younger Beverly in the first It movie.
Should have been Amy Adams.
She was in that show as well. And I was like, they look so much alike. But then, of course, it's crazy, but, what can you do? They're just, they want to bring the bigger name actors. I'm like, who doesn't know who Amy Adams is? Like, she's America's sweetheart.
Yeah, that's Austin's future wife, because he loves redheads.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah, don't ever dye your hair red, or else Austin may be calling you 6, 7, 8,000 times a day.
Oh, no, I'm keeping it all natural. This is how it's going to be. Boom.
Yeah, so am I. All right, here we go. As for DC, now, Man of Steel is very polarizing. It's around 57. I love the movie. That is like one of the most polarizing films I've ever seen. Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. Woo!
So Justice League has a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. Wonder Woman has like a 92. Hallelujah. 92.
I thought it was 93.
No. Batman v Superman has 27. Man of Steel has 55.
It's 55?
Yeah. And Suicide Squad has 27.
Yeah. I remember.
Same with Batman v Superman. It's so crazy. Wait, Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman came out the same year.
They were my most anticipated films of the year, too.
And I'm just like, and you see that difference between scores in comparison to the Marvel films. It blows my mind. And this is why there's been so many conspiracy theories about why, I can understand quality versus quality, or quality versus quantity in Marvel's case.
How do you explain the Superman 1 and 2, or the Richard Donner cut, the Dark Knight trilogy? Tim Burton's Batman got praised. Wonder Woman. So what are they talking about?
But Wonder Woman is the only one that's like...
Because the studios didn't rush them, and Patty Jenkins had creative control, along with Gal Gadot.
Yeah. So there were some definite factors. Wonder Woman made $821.9 million.
And rightfully so. I'll be right back.
And that's they're in second place, with Batman v Superman making $872.7 million. And that was the most, out of the DCEU, Batman v Superman is the highest grossing. And then Justice League made $657.9 million, and Man of Steel made $668 million. That was the first movie to come out. And then Suicide Squad made $746.8 million.
I had to take a water break. Whoa, I was thirsty. So yeah, in all matters in terms of who's running the show and who has creative control. Mm-hmm. That is what it dwells down to.
Right.
And at least with DC, their television shows I've been hearing has been doing super well.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Supergirl, The Flash, Daredevil, Green Arrow, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes me wonder. Oh, not Daredevil. Daredevil's
Marvel.
Oh yeah, dumbass of the year award right here. So it's like I said, it's who's running the show.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if a film gets pushed back, you know, that could either be a good thing or a bad thing. It really depends.
Right.
But, you know, it depends with James Wan if he's gotten creative control or not. He claimed that this movie is going to be like Star Wars underwater.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't know. I mean, even some of those shots in the trailer were kind of like, the CGI was a little bit iffy. I was like, I mean, I know they're trying to do the best they can do. I mean, I still think overall Aquaman looks like a very beautiful film. I think James Wan definitely had more creative control here.
mm-hmm.
Like, he was not going to let Warner Brothers mess up his film because he is like a part of the Warner Brothers family with the Conjuring film.
Yep.
So obviously they better show him some respect, unlike what they did to Zack Snyder. And basically this whole, like, and then basically post Josstice League, Zack Snyder's been getting just all this public scrutiny. Like, he's been on, I guess, Vero. There's like this thing called Vero, and people have been asking him questions and he's been answering them, and people have been like twisting what he's been saying, or like they've been taking it the wrong way. So do you think, I have a question, like, do you think media can affect public opinion of these like films or these franchises?
It can have, depending on the word of mouth and how it's portrayed from the media, can have an effect on the overall reputation and finance and its commercial success. Mm-hmm. Yes, it can play an effect.
Yeah, because I mean, anybody can say that the numbers speak for themselves. Obviously, a lot of people get influenced by, you know, what is on Rotten Tomatoes, because people go to that as their source to determining whether or not they want to see a movie, or if it's good enough, or if they trust a certain critic, they're going to take their word for it. I still think you should see it for yourself. I mean, I understand that movie theaters have been charging, like, they can, you know, see a movie nowadays cost a pretty penny. Like, I can pay $40 just to see a movie in like
$40. Holy.
Or I don't. Well, I mean, 40 total. Like, if I'm going with like my boo, or not by myself though, I would see. Well, you know,
your boo bear.
I'm just saying. I mean, I just think that if they put their money wisely, they can have these movies be more successful. But in DC's case, they're just rushing to catch up with the Marvel numbers, or in the hopes that they're going to get Marvel numbers. There is no conspiracy theory from critics that they're being paid off. I mean, I don't personally believe it. I mean, it's great for the Marvel films if they're all getting these high scores. And DC definitely has a lot to learn. But then what are they learning from? I mean, Marvel has had this successful formula of having their solo films versus or before their team-up movies, while DC did not go that route.
Nope.
For their universe. So, I mean, what can you do? I mean, how can they possibly, you know, go from there?
With their solo movies that are coming out.
Yeah. So hopefully those don't disappoint. Their I guess critics will love them. Hopefully give them a high score. I'm just hoping, because I know that people can be influenced by the media. Like, I know that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look at First Man and the controversy with the flag.
Yeah. I just heard about that today. It's crazy.
Yeah, it can take an effect that easily.
Yeah. Okay. So, moving on to what?
Is that pretty much everything, or you've got one more topic on here?
I've got a couple more things.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, actually, I might have a lot. I have a few things. Quite a few things. Okay. So, now I'd like, going off of that, like talking about like Warner Brothers versus Marvel. So like the state of their management. Now, Warner Brothers owns the rights to DC, while Disney owns the Marvel rights. There have been a lot of different things on both sides, pretty much. But I feel like a lot I have heard more with Warner Brothers. You know, there was that, this is why I should have done the podcast, like, you know, before, like months ago, because there was that, remember that shakeup at Warner Brothers where they were putting in a new president to come in and improve the DCEU. Walter Hamada, I think that's who it was. And I mean, I don't know. It's just like stuff like that doesn't need to be advertised per se unless people truly care about, you know, that like whole debacle. And I don't know, like how I think I would improve the DCU is just not to have so many things on their plate and just have something just like confirmed and set to be in their universe.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah. And I mean, and it took a while for Marvel to build up their universe, but that's because maybe they had the financial backing of Disney. Because we know how much like they make, even with marketing.
Well, yeah, they also with Star Wars.
Right, yeah, they have Star Wars, they have the other Disney, like actual Disney, like princesses and other like old Disney animated properties now becoming live action, and now they have the Marvel characters.
Yeah, hey Gary, Mulan.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started about Mulan and them. I mean, I hope it'll be a good movie, but you know, Lion King and Aladdin come out first.
I'll make a man out of you.
But yeah, and then Marvel has Kevin Feige in charge, and he's the guiding force for the MCU. And obviously, he definitely has a clear vision of what needs to be done. However, with Marvel, there have been some, you know, issues lately with the recent firing of James Gunn. And should Disney reconsider hiring him back, despite his tweets from like that were resurfaced from years ago that were, you know, maybe I don't actually remember, you know, the context of his tweets, except they were just very inappropriate.
They were jokes that involved rape, pedophilia, 9/11, I don't know if it was necrophilia, but pedophilia and all. Yeah. But another thing is he came from the world of trauma.
Yeah.
You know, however, as a filmmaker, I love James Gunn. I've been a fan of his for a very long time, minus the trauma. Okay, I don't like trauma at all. So, and the things he said, were they really bad? Oh my God, yeah. However, people are going to be asking, well, then why did Disney hire him? Because they didn't know about it. Wasn't resurfaced until afterwards. There you go.
Yeah. So then, I mean, I feel like they shouldn't personally. I mean, I don't think they should rehire him just because they would get a lot of backlash for that. Like, then that's very telling of like what kind of stance they're willing to take, because they're marketing these films and these franchises for essentially children. And if somebody's tweets reflect something negative about children, then they shouldn't stand by that. So yeah, I don't think they should rehire him. It's disappointing. Like I mean,
they're screwed either way.
Yeah. So, and I thought like some of the things happening over in DC with some of their actors making some poor decisions was bad enough, but they can still have a chance.
And then you got, you know, you got Dave Bautista losing his crap and threatening to quit and revealing spoilers of the latest Avenger film, which I don't know why he's doing that, because that's breach of contract and you're going to get sued up the ass.
Fine for that. I mean,
he will.
Yeah.
So it's just a bunch of chaos.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like this. If you were head of Disney and you saw one of your main aspiring people in the MCU made these types of comments and tweets and whatnot, would you get rid of him or what? Because it's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place no matter what your decision is.
Because then they would have known if they kept him on, they knew the things that he did in the past. But then it's also like, you know, can people be forgiven for their past mistakes? I mean, was it truly a mistake considering that he's been tweeting or liking or sharing like the same sort of context in those tweets like multiple times? It was like a repeat offender.
Look at Robert Downey Jr.
And yeah, his mistake.
Before the MCU, you know, even showed up, look what happened to him.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like, but because, well, yeah, I mean, he was in a bad spot. Robert Downey Jr. was then hired to play, you know, Iron Man. And he basically turned himself around after that. It's like, it's crazy. Like the things that they, like that Marvel, like I think it's the Disney Marvel effect. They can literally turn around an actor and make them more popular when, like, you see all of these characters, these B, C level Marvel characters becoming A-list characters because of the stars that play them. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say all of them are stars because, I mean, look at some of their movies outside of the MCU. Really, like, weren't as financially successful.
Oh yeah, remember Marvel during the mid 2000s, like below to mid 2000s. Oh man, they had shit movie after shit movie. You know, like Elektra, Daredevil. Not the director's cut. The theatrical cut's awful. The director's cut is really good, by the way. Blade Trinity, the third one. Both Ghost Rider films. The Fantastic Four. Oh my god.
Yeah.
They were
and they still messed it up, and they still messed up with that Fantastic Four reboot, and now they should try to redo it again now that the Fox Marvel deal is in place.
You know, so it's just like, yeah, Marvel has been up shit creek without a paddle.
And yeah, and that's what I was sort of like mentioning earlier is that, you know, Marvel has made mistakes, but yet has never really been held accountable for their mistakes, unlike what DC has been going through.
And it wasn't like that. And it wasn't like that for DC. I mean, you know, they had some hits on.
They had some good stuff, but they only seem to be focusing on their two, you know, big juggernauts, Batman and Superman. And if you saw any other character, like Wonder Woman, she had her TV series with Linda Carter. And I feel like they had, and then when they did Smallville, they sort of had like an episode or where they introduced some of the Justice League characters, but like whatever.
But there was just small parts. I'm talking like main financial roles, and other than Batman and Superman, Wonder Woman is the only one that did it, that made a success.
And it's so crazy because like I feel like maybe it's partial like superhero fatigue. Like people were kind of getting sick and tired of seeing the same old Batman and Superman.
Well, they tried.
Even if it's a different actor and it's a different interpretation, either they didn't like it because, you know, Batman kills, or Superman and Man of Steel was so like, you know, moody or like whatever.
It was a different tone. It was in a serious, realist. Like how would the people treat a person who's got powers of a god? They would fear him. Yeah. Until he earns their trust. See what I mean? But like if you saw a guy flying in the sky and able to pick up a building, you'd be scared to death.
Right.
You know, but that's the problem. They're focused on those two, where they have so much to work with, and yet only Wonder Woman was the one that succeeded. I mean, Watchmen was too, but that was like a group, like a unite, you know, in a way. But in terms of solo, Wonder Woman was the only one. Green Lantern was not only a flop; it sucked. Okay,
and I liked that movie. Ryan Reynolds was so cool, but now I feel like I can see him better as Deadpool.
Well, you remember Deadpool? He's like, if you're gonna give me a suit, anything but green.
Yeah.
And, it was the Green Lantern. His enemies were a guy with a big, massive testicle for a head and a giant floating diarrhea cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mark Strong as Sinestro
was the best thing about the movie.
Oh my god. And I'm really glad that he is returning to the DC universe by being the villain in Shazam. Which by the way comes out April 5th, 2019.
Can't wait. And I wonder if Black Adam's gonna make an appearance or not.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like Dwayne Johnson's been shutting down all those rumors.
He needs to take this role because his films have been shit.
I mean, seriously, he plays like basically the same character.
He plays
Rampage, in Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
What does he play? He plays a big guy who's powerful, and he's like ex-special forces.
And he's got the muscle shirt on. Ooh, he's so hot. But hey, his show Ballers is pretty cool. So
Boss.
Ballers.
Oh.
Still. Anyway. So yeah. So, in latest news, there is no planned Snyder cut for Justice League.
Interesting.
There definitely is not. It appears that there is no plan.
Well, because I saw the Batman v Superman cut, I'm just like,
okay. Now that one was good, but Justice League. I mean, I actually just rewatched Justice League again, and I found it entertaining. I mean, yes, it has flaws, but I'm gonna try to move past them because I know that we just have to move forward. That's all you have to do. Isn't that kind of message? Isn't that Superman's message? His S stands for hope.
Yeah. Either that or the highest score in a video game. There's D, C, B, A, and S. Play Capcom games. That taught you that.
That's crazy.
I'm a nerd. I'm sorry.
I'm a nerd too. I got the Justice League shirt on. But I do find it cool that at least, even though, I mean, you did say that, I mean, yeah, I saw Deadpool and how Ryan Reynolds was sort of poking fun at his Green Lantern character.
Especially which I consider to be the greatest end credits I think I've ever seen in my life, Deadpool 2. That was genius.
I mean, it's one thing to like, I mean, you can like try not to take yourself too seriously. Like, I mean, just like people need to lighten up. Like, it's not like that bad of a joke. I mean, I wasn't offended by it. So, I mean,
well, with Ryan Reynolds,
I mean, it was good because I mean, he played both of those characters. So at one point or another.
Not only that, he helped made the movies. He was one of the writers, and like I said, like spoiler alert, like the spoiler, he ends up shooting. He's as Deadpool, and he's like Ryan Reynolds is at a desk. He's like, this is gonna change my life, and our son. Boom! You see blood just go all over the Green Lantern script, and it's Deadpool shooting Ryan Reynolds. He's like, "You're welcome, Canada." I was like, "That is amazing."
But it is nice that like even at times there can be some unity or some, I guess, civility with these actors, like because you know how sometimes I've been watching some videos where you would hear the cast interviews from both sides of the DC side and the Marvel side, and they're always sort of like trash talking each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was actually really cool. And you were talking about Teen Titans Go. I didn't see that movie, but I heard that Stan Lee voiced himself in that movie.
Yes.
And, Stan Lee with all his Marvel movie cameos,
which are hilarious, by the way. Yeah. They're never not fun.
It's like, I wonder what all the Stan Lees in every movie would do if they were all in the same room together. It'd be like, hey, you look just like me.
It'd be like being John Malkovich, except Stan Lee.
Yeah.
But why? Okay, Teen Titans Go. Why? Because I'm a fan of Teen Titans. Yeah. The original Teen Titans, which is arguably the greatest show on Cartoon Network.
But then, aren't they coming out with a Titans show, like a series?
Here's the thing with that, Lauren. There is a mid-credit sequence at the end of the movie, and it shows the original Teen Titans, and he's like, and it's Robin. He's like, you know what? I figure out a way for us to come back, and it shows all of the Teen Titans, and then it went to credits. I'm just like,
oh my gosh,
give me that! Why could that be a movie? I don't want to see Go. Oh my god.
Well, because the thing with that, the live action Titans series, I don't know if you heard about it or
yes.
The one that had some controversy to it.
Oh yeah.
Like the Robin saying, like Brenton Floyds, I think he plays Robin, and or Dick Grayson, I guess, and he basically says F Batman. Like, really? Come on. And then, like, the thing about Starfire and, like, the way that she looks in the show. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to see... Unfortunately, I call myself a DC fan, but I am not going to see this series. Unfortunately, I just, like, I don't care. I don't even want to pay for that streaming service, so I'm done.
I knew
it. Like, I want to see the DCU period point blank succeed. I don't care about anything outside of it. I don't care about Joaquin Phoenix Joker movies.
I don't care about that.
I just like I want them to do Jared Leto. They need to get that together. They need to figure this out.
Oh my
which
God.
is why like what's coming up next for the DCEU and the MCU. I mean, DCU we know has Aquaman, Shazam, and Wonder Woman 1984. But then they have all of these movies in development. They've got the Batman solo film, which I don't know when that's going to be released. They need to hurry up.
I want to see it. Matt Reeves is the man, and with his vision.
Be like, I pray Ben Affleck leaves rehab and is in this movie in some form or another. I don't want to see a younger actor playing Batman and then they're just going to use him. Just like I feel like they're going to transition from Jared Leto to Joaquin Phoenix, like as if they didn't matter. If that's how they're going to. No, I'm going to go off on a rant.
No.
Hold on. Wait.
You want Christian Bale?
No, I don't. No, I want Ben Affleck now because he's a part of the DCEU, and that's how it should be. Just have a little bit of faith in Jared Leto's performance. Yeah, Suicide Squad was disappointing, but guess what? He was not the central aspect of that film. He, I saw, because I own the extended cut on Blu-ray, so I saw the extra Joker scene. So I said, oh my God, he should have been in the movie longer, because obviously, he's one of the most well-known villains, unlike all these other villains, which are turned into anti-heroes in Suicide Squad.
Okay.
I know, maybe that was kind of the point. Yeah, I know, because then Enchantress ended up being the one that was evil.
Oh my God, Enchantress.
And then the other CGI monstrosity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Batman solo film, 2 Joker movies. If Jared Leto's movie even, lifts off the ground, I don't know. But Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad 2, a Flash movie has finally got some, legs, literally, seriously, Flash legs, and actually getting some, directors after being in, development hell. Cyborg movie, I don't even know what that's going to be about.
I don't know what the hell.
Green Lantern Corps, I'm more excited for that. There's a New Gods movie by Ava DuVernay. I don't even know what that's about. There's a potential some kind of movie with Steven Spielberg as a director. I forgot the name of it, but it's some kind of war type of movie. I don't know.
Let me see here.
It's just I don't know. It's just too much stuff. Just think. I understand. I keep visualizing the Comic-Con MCU panel or the Marvel panel where they had this whole timeline of the movies in the MCU. And now what? They don't even have anything yet because they don't want to reveal too much. I think they have a plan in place. They're just not going to reveal it.
You think they have a whole different agenda they're going for?
I think they do. If they have the Fox, if they have the rights to the Fox characters, then they need to start thinking ahead. What are we going to do? Are we going to start putting all these other Avengers characters out of a job?
Here are the upcoming films of Spielberg: the Untitled Indiana Jones Project, I know, The Kidnapping of Edgardo Mortara, and West Side Story.
No. So maybe it's not a for sure thing. They were just sort of talking about it. It doesn't have a title, but I know it has to do with some kind of military type of thing. I'm just okay, what does that have to do with the DCU characters? I know it's a part of the comics, but it's just
Is Robert Zemeckis directing The Flash? There was rumors about that.
I thought Lord and Miller aren't directing The Flash, are they? Because I thought The Flash had 2 directors.
If it was Lord and Miller, that'd be my most anticipated film ever.
I feel like that's what it is.
Hold on.
I don't know what to tell you. I should have written this down. I remember hearing that The Flash finally got a director.
I'm looking. Let's see here. Yep. Can't see nothing yet.
Yeah. Oh, well. I mean, until I don't know. It's just, I'm glad that they're starting to make more solo films instead of just going off making these other, like, sort of offshoot Suicide Squad movies. Like Birds of Prey or, oh yeah, and then I forgot to mention Gotham City Sirens too, so.
Yeah.
But on the Marvel side, obviously, like we said, Captain Marvel comes out next year along with Avengers 4, which still needs a title. I don't know what it's going to be called. Hopefully nothing stupid.
Oh, come on.
And then Spider-Man 2, a Venom movie. Which I'm not looking for. I love Tom Hardy. You know, like, I love Tom Hardy, but Venom, not looking forward to it.
He's your
like, I'm not looking forward to it as much as I'm not looking forward to seeing Predator.
Oh yeah, because the Predator looks awesome.
I mean, Predator does look awesome. I'm just like, too many movies, and Dark Phoenix and New Mutants better not like come out. Nope. Or even a potential for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is up in the air because they might need to find a new director because they're obviously not going to rehire James Gunn. But
well, dude, Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, James Gunn and Guardians of the Galaxies go together. I mean, you can't separate the two. But then again, that, like I said, that's just a cluster F upon cluster Fs.
Yeah, I mean, it's still like I still feel like it's an unfortunate situation, but they just have to deal with it. They always seem to find a way to figure things out. What's stopping them now just because of one director? I mean, you saw how, like, when even Ant-Man was coming out.
Yeah,
the first Ant-Man movie with Edgar Wright. I love Edgar Wright and his Cornetto trilogy.
Baby
but
Driver.
Then, yeah, but now they had a different director for that movie. And
it was awesome, the first one. Second one,
not so much. I really just feel like they forced too much of, like, the idea of having Ant-Man. Oh, and then now we're going to add the Wasp, even though the Wasp was teased. And you
look like you could play the Wasp.
Only if I cut my hair.
Oh,
or no, actually, no, she had it up. Never mind. She had it
up. Yeah, she had it in a bun.
But in the first movie, she had like this weird haircut. I was like,
you're like, you're not cutting.
Not a bob. I'm not.
It's like,
no.
I'm like Rapunzel. You don't touch this hair.
No. This is my Wonder Woman hair.
Okay, here's an over-under. How much shampoo conditioner Lauren uses a week?
Oh, yeah. You're only supposed to use a little bit. Like
a little bit. You probably have to dump that on your hair like paint.
No. That'd be a bad idea.
I should use that for my hair.
Yeah, just like.
Yeah, me and my cul-de-sac.
Too smooth. But yeah, I mean, Ladies, well, thankfully they're not making a solo film for the Wasp, which I feel like I heard that they almost wanted to, but it's going to Black Widow at long frickin' last.
I'm surprised she didn't even get one at least.
I don't understand why she needs one at this point. I mean, didn't we already see her backstory in Age of Ultron or whatever?
Somewhat.
I mean, do we really, Scarlett Johansson with her. No, seriously, I have an issue with Scarlett Johansson. Like, I feel like she doesn't exactly carry a film. I mean, you see it with films like Lucy, or she even voiced that character, that little like AI thing in Her.
I love that
movie. Joaquin Phoenix.
I love that movie. Spike Jonze, he's God. He's God of indie movies. I love Spike Jonze. He did Jackass.
It was a very interesting movie. Her, not Jackass.
He also did Jackass.
I know. I'm just saying.
Spike Jonze is awesome.
Not a fan of those Jackass movies.
Oh, you get up and you get out of here. You get up and you get up. You get up and you get out of here right now.
No.
Okay.
Or they think about. Or. I don't think they should do a female Avengers movie. I think that's so stupid.
A female?
A female Avengers movie with, like, Black Widow and Gamora and, like...
Isn't that kind of like what Gotham City Sirens is going to be like?
I swear, like, they better not try to do something like that to compete with Gotham City Sirens.
Well,
not.
Well, look at Ocean's 8. I really liked that movie.
Yeah, it was okay.
I mean, you were great, you know, Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
She looks like Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Honey, yeah, she's in her 50s. She still looks good. Oh my God. They must have found the fountain of youth. I swear to God.
Yeah, I was totally watching Premonition and then The Blind Side this weekend.
Dude, okay. Yeah, Sandra Bullock and Kate Blanchett, they're aging like fine red wine. I'm aging like half and half cream.
I mean, I was just like, and Kate Blanchett, even in Thor Ragnarok, I mean, man, she was pretty good.
See what I mean?
She was a good villain. I liked her.
She was awesome.
And then Black Panther 2 also in development after, like, wait, didn't they do something to T'Challa?
How is that even possible?
I think they're teasing it. Because obviously we know, like, I mean, obviously if the villains are always, like, so undercut and taken out by the heroes in those films, which is why they're kind of, like, I consider them weak villains because they never seem to win, obviously, ever.
Cough Civil War, cough Infinity War, cough.
Or even a potential Gambit movie. You know who Gambit is?
Oh, come on now.
They should. I don't think they should do it. Channing Tatum, come on. Go.
I mean, I don't know how they could do it.
That's been in production, like, development hell for I don't know how long. They should just scrap it. Like, but because they have the Fox Disney deal, maybe they'll try to bring it back up. I don't know. I think they should focus on one thing at a time now that they've got certain things in development. So instead of criticizing DC for, you know, juggling multiple projects at once, which I still think they should focus on one thing at a time, as long as they have that clear creative vision.
I honestly don't think Tom likely said the same thing. I don't care about a Gambit movie at this point. And also Black Panther 2, how can they be a Black Panther 2? He turned into a pile of leaves I need to rake up in the front row.
Oh my God.
He did. He's like, come on, help us. And I was just like, what the hell's going on here? My theater was, you could have heard a pin drop at that ending, man. Oh my God. Yeah. You could have heard a mouse. You could have heard I swear to God, you could have heard a mouse nibbling on cheese. That's how quiet it was.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other topics to discuss? No? Me neither. That was the end of my list. I was like, I worked so hard on that list.
Oh, my band, Lauren.
Yay.
Hooray.
All right. So,
no, seriously, okay. Type in the comment section below, how much shampoo and condition does she use a week?
Oh my gosh.
I gotta say, like,
and I get my stuff from Costco, you know.
Okay, yeah, Costco. So she probably comes home with a huge shopping cart full, like a huge box full.
It's literally like this big, like
of I don't know what is it? Oh, like, Suave, Pantene, Pro V, whatever the heck you use.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just guessing. I'm no peeping Tom.
I know. I'm just saying, you gotta, you know.
Although, you know, if I had hair, I'd try to steal it, but that's a different story, you know. I got this goddamn cul-de-sac on my head.
I'll donate my hair. Lots of love.
You cut half your hair, it's like, don't you throw away this jewelry, you better put this to good use. You know how long it took
me to Stanley to do it. Stanley shaved, or cut, well, I don't think he actually did, but they made it look like Stanley cut Thor's hair. Yeah. Oh my God, it was so sad. It was like Thor's beautiful mane. It was gone.
Wait, Tom said, as long as DC don't hire Dennis, if they ever do that, I swear, Dennis Dugan, aka Dennis Douchebag, this guy, aka Satan, he's known for directing such classics such as Jack and Jill, Grown Ups 2, Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. He is the worst filmmaker of all time, and a guy I want to get in a fight. I want to fight in an octagon. I can't stand this guy. DC, if they ever hire him, I'm done. You'll never see me do movie reviews ever again.
Yeah, I mean, I think what DC needs to do, I feel like they need to hire a director who hopefully Warner Brothers can give creative control to instead of having like.
Didn't Mel Gibson say he wanted to direct the sequel to
Suicide
Squad and make it rated R?
And he backed out. Yeah, maybe. I don't think it's happening though. So
I would see it. I love, despite Mel Gibson as a person, as a filmmaker, he's awesome.
Yeah, Hacksaw Ridge,
Apocalypto, Braveheart, and unlike Lars von Trier and Nicholas Refn, at least Mel Gibson uses his violence to good effect rather than just for shock value. Okay,
true.
Of course it did, Tom. That's why he mentioned it. He's like, "Thank you, Jerome, for that rant on Dennis Dugan, because I love when you rant on him."
I just think they need to find somebody who's confident enough to handle who actually knows the source material, and I think that's a problem. Is that you have a lot of people who are trying to act like they're like people who call themselves fans are the ones that are like dictating what they want to see. And I'm sorry, but I'm not suggesting that even I feel like at times, but I could be wrong about this, that Marvel sometimes, appeals to the fan service.
If it did, the movies probably wouldn't be as good.
But
also, look at Carl Urban in Dredd. I don't know if you know this. Did you notice in that movie, he never shows his face or takes off the helmet?
Oh my God. You
want to know why? Because in the comics, he never took off his helmet.
I know, but maybe I can take off his helmet for him.
Oh my God. Did you know that he's a judge, jury, and executioner? That's not a good idea. Well, for you. No.
Well, I'm
going to stop talking. I'm going to stop talking.
You don't want to see what's going on.
You're turning into me right now. And
you start talking about somebody who's hot. I mean, I'm going to start going off.
Yeah, Tom Hardy. He's your Mad Max. I already know. Yeah. You want to write in the it's called the Interceptor from Mad Max, and you just be all lovely dovely through the desert. I already know you. Know you.
Bane. Don't forget it.
I am Bane. What are you talking about? I take craps bigger than Tom Hardy.
Oh my God.
Come on now. You betrayed the law.
I mean, I'm just saying, they're getting these pretty good looking actors to play these superheroes. They better start acting like superheroes. Henry Cavill.
Oh my goodness. With or without the mustache?
Without, obviously, because that's what Superman without a mustache. No CGI airbrush looking mustache.
Hey, he had
$500.
Hey, he had a beard in Man of Steel, and he got rid of it, and it was real. It wasn't like Deadpool says, we're doing an arms like you're trying to do a mustache. That's why I love Deadpool, because oh my God, he pokes fun
at. He just takes no prisoners, clearly.
Dude, the Deadpool 2 has balls, literally. And that's why I love it.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, like I said, the end credits, all I can say is Deadpool from X-Men Origins. Like I said, it's got the greatest. Okay, Tom. Okay, Tom, thanks for showing up, buddy. It's Deadpool 2, greatest end credits I've ever seen to a movie.
Yeah.
Miss Lauren, is that everything?
I think so, unless are there any final thoughts, or was that it? You got nothing? I've got nothing. All right. So, yeah, thanks for joining us, myself and Jerome, to talk about Marvel versus DC and everything all in between, because we know there was a lot of stuff. There has been a lot of stuff about Marvel and DC in the news as of late. Stuff that definitely needed to be said. I know I had to get a lot off my chest to talk about it and rant about things. Woo.
You know what? Man, Marvel and DC and all in between. Hey, that rhyme.
But hey, at least I can still be a fan of both. There's nothing wrong with that. But I can also still be critical of both.
Yeah, none of this fanboy bull crap. Come on now, you folks.
It's like what's more toxic is definitely fanboys.
The fan. Oh, Sony or PlayStation or Xbox, Marvel or DC, Star Wars, Star Trek. How about you be quiet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah.
Blonde, brunette.
Doesn't matter. We're all comic book fans. We all want to see DC and Marvel succeed in their own way.
Yes.
I mean, we want to see it in the best way possible.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, people are like, there's a lot of these movies coming out. I was just like, if they're good, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I wonder what Lauren would look like if she was blonde.
I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, I have to know. I have to know.
I'll have to get a wig. You know, Halloween's coming up. Gotta get a blonde.
Well, you're gonna be the nun.
I have to be a nun. That's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, so upcoming for me definitely is next month my horror review series on my channel, Lauren Loves Movies. So you guys stay tuned for that. And I also do, obviously you guys know, movie reviews, trailer Thursday videos, trailer reaction videos, podcasts, and of course all sorts of movie news and all sorts of stuff. So definitely subscribe and check it out. And Jerome.
And don't do Samara ever again, because that scared me.
Oh, it scared a lot of kids.
Oh,
it made a lot of kids cry. I remember.
Like every review, she has her hair done. At the end, she's like this, and she just looks at the camera. And I'm just like, no, don't come on TV. Okay.
I got to do something. Well, now that I'm gonna be the nun, Valak the nun.
Oh,
I'm gonna shock and awe.
Oh, you're just gonna do those jump scares. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for everybody tuning into Marvel vs. DC and everything in between. That's a good rhyme. As far as my projects are concerned, I will be on Rotten or Fresh, the old Two Brothers show, Rotten or Fresh, where I be going up against Christopher Durbin. And I'll be filming that off screen this Friday. And also you can catch Flicks with the Dicks every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, which Lauren has been featured on more than once. So, signing off for Lauren Loves Movies, aka Wonder Woman. This is Running J Muddy saying stay tuned. And once again, Mother F Tom Hardy, because I should have been Bane. I can already just hear Lauren. Oh, he's so lovely and romantic. Oh, you know.
Your punishment must be more severe.
No, brother. I respect one of us in the wreckage. Until then, good day, everybody.
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for coming.